there are some things that are inescapable in this human existence, and one of them now are Switch sales, which is a pretty good thing to not be able to get away from. What's going on, everybody? It's Zach from SwitchForce. Gabe is here, and Sonic is also here. He may not be coming to theaters this year, Gabe. He's gotten delayed, but his game sale has begun, and it runs until June 24th. Now, let us know in the comments down below which of these games is most exciting to you, if you're going to grab any, or if anything else on sale has tickled your fancy. We've got a lot of Sonic titles, and then we have a really cool Australia, New Zealand sale, and we'll get to that a little bit later. But first off, Gabe, Sonic Forces half off. Is there any world in which you consider picking up Sonic Forces for $14.99?
Yeah, why not? If you don't have anything else to play, I can't imagine how you don't, because there's just so much quality stuff out right now. But if Bloodstained doesn't interest you, if My Friend Pedro doesn't interest you, if Cadence of Hyrule doesn't interest you, I would of course say go get all of those before you even look at Sonic Forces. But for whatever reason, maybe you missed out on this and you are a fan of Sonic and you remember Sonic fondly, some nostalgia comes into play here. Yeah, $15 isn't a bad price. You're going to have a decent time for a decent amount of hours. Do I like Sonic Forces a whole bunch? No. Do I think it's terrible? No. So, you know what you get with Sonic. That's the one thing that I will say here. So, I mean,
you get to make your own Sonic.
Sure, you get a little avatar character with different abilities. You get to use wisps.
It's pretty. Like, we're looking at the shots right now. It's a good-looking game. It makes me bummed that it didn't perform better, it wasn't received better, it isn't better. But I think, like, maybe this is closer to a bargain bin price that makes it interesting to pick up.
All right, move us on to the next one that's $14.99 that I fully recommend.
Yeah, so this is Sonic Mania at $14.99. It's a smaller discount, $5 off, but really hard to go wrong with what many people, I think, consider to be Sonic's greatest adventure in many, many years.
Yeah, I would say get this before Sonic Forces. Yes, it's more traditional looking. It's like that for a reason, but the levels that they've added and remixed, some of the older ones, the music in it's still really, really cool. This one is fully worth picking up. It's a fun little co-op adventure. I've always found co-op in Sonic to be like tough, just because like one character is like way fast, and unless you're using like Knuckles, I guess, like Tails is usually just like flying around. It's always a little bit odd, but it's an awesome game. As far as Sonic games, this is probably one of my favorites. So yeah, pick this one up.
He doesn't have weird teeth. He doesn't have weird feet. He doesn't have a weird face. He just looks like Sonic, how he's supposed to look.
Yeah.
And we really appreciate that in an era where Jim Carrey is Robotnik, and the movie, that movie, we'll see what they do and how they change his face by the time it comes out. But yeah, Sonic Mania is a really cool time. It's very creative, and it's one that, you know, sometimes we go back and forth on how should we handle like older titles coming to Switch, but here it's so beautiful because it's a reimagining and it is a new old experience, which I think is super awesome. And $15 is a pretty good price.
You can get the old experience. I just wanted to like just quickly mention it. We don't have to talk about it very long, but Sega ages Sonic the Hedgehog for $4. Yeah, maybe you want to play that game style of Sonic, and you know Sonic Mania is a little too expensive. Pick up the original for $4. That you can't go wrong with that either.
I do not recommend Team Sonic Racing at 30 though. So we will we'll sit that one out. Now, Gabe, Australia and New Zealand are very, very cool places, and they're very good to us on the Switch because they provide a way to get games sometimes at a cheaper price, and a lot of times earlier, since the clock is moved forward when you move to those lands. And we have accounts for Australia and New Zealand, but now Australia and New Zealand are doing us one better and putting together the hashtag ANZ Nindy sale. This is coupling a bunch of developers from those territories and putting some of their best games on some of their biggest discounts. This one just started today and will run until June 30th, and we've got a plethora of titles. We'll start with City of Brass. Now, this game is initially $19.99. It's on sale for the first time ever, down to $13.99, and it is a very interesting Arabian Nights inspired roguelike, and it's made by senior BioShock developers, which is pretty cool. And it's unique because you have a whip. First-person combat with a whip is not something we get very often.
It isn't. First-person action adventure, yeah, with whips. Can you think of any? I'm struggling now to think of any. I'm sure some exist out there, but I can't.
Yeah, the whip action genre is not very populated, but this game looks pretty. It has a lot of style and pizzazz. It's one I've always wanted to play because of that BioShock developer tie. I have not got around to it, now seems like a really good time to dive in. It has pretty good reviews. People seem to like it. Aladdin was a lot of fun earlier this summer in theaters, and maybe I want to take that action to my Switch screen and pick this up from Uppercut Games. $13.99.
Zach, I have two things I want to say. One, you almost scared me that I missed an Aladdin game.
Oh, no. Not an Aladdin movie.
Yeah, and two, I always wonder why this seems to happen quite often, where developers of like very like revered titles end up going to make their own like little studio, and they end up making roguelikes. I don't know what about that genre just like speaks to developers, but
speaks to the world, apparently.
Yeah, I guess
life is a roguelike. You fall down, you get back up, you try to power up and do it again. You take what you learn and you try to make it deeper into the dungeon. Before we get any deeper into that mental quandary, let's go to Death Squared. This game ain't so deep, but it definitely is challenging. You got little cubes that are giving you such a good price. $5.84, Gabe, from $14.99. I love Death Squared, and it is a fantastic co-op puzzler, and I don't know if you know this, Gabe, but it's for 1, 2, or 4. It can't be played with 3. It's a little too awkward. But there are levels for 1, 2, and 4. The campaign is playable with 1 or 2, and then they also have a bunch of just like special 4-player levels. And I didn't even know this, but earlier this year, they updated and added 15 new levels and 3 new game modes.
Plus a colorblind option. Just want to throw that out there. You know, that's always cool. More inclusion. This is an awesome price for an awesome little game. I think a lot of people... Look, if you like party games of any kind, you should have this. A lot of people already have it, is what I was going to say, because it's been on sale, you know, a lot. But $5.84, if for some reason this one has eluded you, or maybe you saw it on sale and you're like, no, maybe I'll wait till next time. Hey, next time is here. Please get this one. It's a really, really fun time.
Yeah, it really balances the, like, time to fun equation so well. These levels are challenging enough where it's not like you're gonna breeze through, but it's very funny, and you'll get to like that moment of like excitement very quickly. I played majority of the game with 2 players, and it was an absolute blast. So I can't recommend Death Squared enough. I think this is a hidden gem on Switch. It's for a specific type of player who likes more cerebral puzzle titles, but the movement is fun, co-op is fun, Death Squared is fun, and $5.84, man, it's a cool price. Let's go to Crawl. First, you must crawl before you can walk and evolve into your.
Unless you're Gabe. Fun fact: I never knew how to crawl.
Oh,
yeah,
that explains so much.
Yeah,
that's also why you hate roguelikes. You're just trying to skip steps.
Yeah,
you don't want to go through the normal progression. Gabe's going straight from Charmander to Charizard. This is a really inventive idea. We've talked a bunch about Crawl. It's $8.99 down from $14.99. It's not the cheapest it's been, but it's still well worth it at $9. It is a cooperative competitive game where you get to be the monsters and eventually be the boss as your friends try and survive. It's great. We don't need to say much. It's great. It's totally worth buying. 1 to 4 players again. 60 different monsters you can play, Gabe. If you thought Evolve didn't have enough content, whew.
There's a video on our channel that you can go check out where me, Zach, and Jake play Crawl. So if for some reason you want to watch that, maybe before you pick it up yourself, feel free. It's a fun game. We had fun, right, when we played it together?
It's so good. You're going through, gaining XP, leveling up, purchasing items, eventually, like I said, facing a boss. You get to upgrade your monsters as you go. It's such an inventive formula. I'm surprised it honestly doesn't get more love as kind of a cult favorite, because I think it's super awesome. The dungeons are randomly generated. It came out very early, right? This is a year 1 title, but if you have missed it and you're not into Pedro or Bloodstain, maybe give Crawl a go. I think you will thoroughly have fun, unless it's just one of you.
It's also a tiny download, so just for I know that matters for some people. Yeah, tiny download. You'll get it quick.
And you can probably save that on your finger now. You don't even need a memory card.
Yeah.
Let's go to you know what I'm learning here, Gabe?
It's all multiplayer.
Australia and New Zealand love good, fun multiplayer. It's because they work together. They're nice people. It just makes sense. So let's look at Screen Cheat Unplugged, which is down from $12.99 to $9.09. This is again, multiplayer game for 4 players where you cheat and look at each other's screen and try to shoot the opponents that way. A very unique concept, one that, frankly, Gabe and I have not dove into, but it gets a lot of praise, and it's something that I think we should pick up.
Zach, how are we going to cheat if you are so far away from me? I want to cheat off your screen.
Can you cheat the airline and try to get to me and like just ride on top of the plane?
Yeah, I could probably do that. A bunch of really cool retro-inspired maps with some very like colorful weapons. You're using candles. You're using like little horses. You're using all types of stuff. It has remastered visuals as well. So yeah, I mean, it could be fun.
We're currently watching a trailer where a dog is playing, so maybe you can get your pets involved. That's a nice time as well. I like the look of this. It's one that I have never dipped my toes into, and these waters now, Gabe, are seeming quite appealing. So that is Screen Sheet. The last one I want to mention is Polybridge. This game is $15 down to $7.49. There are a number of titles on Switch like this one. My favorite is When Ski Lifts Go Wrong, but Polybridge is more of an OG title. You're building bridges, and you are trying to survive 105 levels, a puzzler that is not multiplayer, but by a lot of people's accounts is must play.
Another tiny download. This is like basically like a puzzle game, right? For all intents and purposes, and I think that they're fun and creative. When Ski Lifts Go Wrong is one of the main games that I've spent most of my time in this genre, but this one also just like looks like really cool, and a game like this doesn't really need to do a lot for me to even like it, as long as like it like functions and like the gameplay mechanics all work well. I'm on board. And yeah, Polybridge seems pretty good. It reviewed well on Steam and everything, so we know it's of quality.
You missed a pun. You could have said I'm on bridge.
Oh man, that's what
this game is all about bridges. I will say that this genre did not seem appealing to me at all. And then I started dabbling, and I found that actually it's really fun to try and make these like about to break and fall apart machine pieces or bridges or whatever you're having to work on. Try to just make it barely survive, and there's something very satisfying about reaching that success point and doing it on your own, because a lot of this, like, it's like, whoa, what am I possibly going to do? And you kind of got to get creative, and there's no specific right way. There's probably a lot of ways to solve most of these levels, but it does bring about that tinkerer in you, that engineer in you, that schoolboy or girl in you, if you remember the good old days when things were simple and all you had to do was build connects.
I'll say it's still just like fun, right? To be able to find a solution for something and see it work, you feel that sense of satisfaction.
Finding a solution for something and see it work, man. I wish that was easier in all areas. Polybridge, man. Life is like a roguelike, and I wish that Polybridge was like life. But in the meantime, you've got some good games to check out: Sonic Forces, Mania, City of Brass, Death Squared, Crawl, Screen Sheet Unplugged, Polybridge. Gabe, give the good people 2 dedicated picks.
Okay, does Sonic count?
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course he counts, the little blue man.
Sonic Mania.
Hey.
And Death Squared are my picks. Love those games.
That's fantastic. I'll echo Death Squared because at $5.84, like, it deserves the double down. And then my second one is going to be Crawl. I think Crawl is fantastic. It's obviously not for one of you. That's a little weird. I think it loses a lot of that luster, but it's one of the more fun, unique multiplayer experiences I've had on Switch. It's obviously available some other places as well, but it just feels like such a good Switch game. And it's one you can set up tabletop and really enjoy playing these pixelated monsters and trying to perform these just insidious attacks upon your friends. Belch on them, attack them with a spider, breathe fire, shock them with a wizard spell. All things that are enjoyable, yes.
Also, just like last thing, we should have mentioned at the beginning, but the Sonic games are also on sale on 3DS and Wii U. If for some reason you're still on those platforms, there's also some other Sonic experiences you can have there.
Yes, there's a lot of stuff on those consoles. Nothing on the Wii. That's reserved for Just Dance 2020, the proud torch bearer of that console. And we are going to let the torch go out on this video. Thanks so much for watching, guys and girls. Let us know in the comments down below which of these games on sale you are most interested in. And if you're going to pick any up, we'd love to hear your experience. Till that time, everybody, thanks so much for watching. Hit that like button if you enjoyed the video. And for myself and Gabe and Sanic, SwitchForce out.